Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting night of Beyond the Edge of Exile. My name's Jason. I've got my super awesome tech support Janice right here beside me. She's running the cameras tonight for us. And wait, of course, there's one other legendary guest joining me, as he does every week. Let's bring him up right over here. There it is, the one, the only Jeff Picito. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I am super excited for tonight. This is going to be a great stream. We're going to share some really cool things tonight, and I can't wait to let people know.
I'm pretty excited, actually. I can't wait to. Yeah, I can't wait to show some of the stuff. I don't know when we'll show it. Show it at the beginning, the middle, the end. I don't know. We'll show it at some point. Maybe we'll do a little bit of talking first.
Yeah, for sure.
Voices, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
First of all, before we get too far into this, let me just say hello to all the viewers out there. It's great to see you in the chat. Hello, Damien. Hello, Cardboard Cohorts. Hello, all you lurkers out there who happen to be lurking as well. You are all welcome here on the Edge, and we're going to have some fun tonight.
Definitely. Hello out there in TV land. Isn't that what they used to say?
Yeah,
in 40s and 50s or something like that?
Exactly. So where do we want to start tonight, Jeff? What do we want to do? I mean, there's so much cool stuff we can talk about. I don't even know where to begin.
You know what? I know there was a little bit of discussion after our last live stream about factions, or affiliations, I guess is what we call them. Affiliations, factions, groupings, color pieces.
Chaos, Thymos, those kind of affiliations.
Yes, exactly, right?
Vellum.
Maybe we can touch on that a bit, because I know there's a little bit of discussion going back and forth between people in some of the chats and stuff like that, and where we come out on that discussion sort of thing of where we see these things going. Do you want to put in your 2 cents first, Jason?
Are we talking about what we had mentioned before about how they should have distinct, clear identities? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I can give you 2 cents worth of that for sure. I'm really excited that as we move forward, I mean, Invasions is pretty much already set in stone for the most part, but as we move forward in future sets, I'm really excited to help give every affiliation really clear tendencies, traits, their own unique identities, things that you'll see in the game, you'll be like, oh, that's clearly a Thymos card just because of what you had to do that, and Bellum and whatnot. I think it's going to be really fun because I think that's one of the only things that I was a little disappointed with in the past was sometimes all the affiliations felt a little generic to me or interchangeable perhaps. And I'm excited to really give each affiliation its own flavor and play style traits and really define them a little better so that different types of people who enjoy different types of play styles in life will find one affiliation in particular that will really resonate with them, or maybe two. I used to be a blue player and then a blue-white player in another game. So like, it'll be fun to give each affiliation their own colors or their own traits and whatnot so that people can really feel a bond to certain ones. That's my thought on it. What did you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I agree totally. I mean, it's fine to have crossovers with things, right? Like some abilities have to cross over, but each affiliation needs to have its own benefit or hindrance to accommodate that, to fit more into their methodology or their theme,
Hmm.
schema, whatever you want to call it. And you really do need that because then it really does define things. If not, there's no sense in having these affiliations if they're not going to be divided up in some way to have you, because then it also gives you more to work with and more to think about, right? Do you really want to build these two colors? And with the way champions work, you're kind of you're under strict building guidelines. So you may have a champion you love, but if one of those colors isn't a play style you like, you may be switching champions or learning another play style. So I think that's really neat and can really work on a go forward basis, really introduce people to other things, right?
Yeah.
Similar to you were saying before, right? You liked blue in another game, you added white into it when you went into commander and stuff like that. Whoops, now people know what we're talking about. But same idea with this, right? You may really like one of the colors. You're going to learn to like another color, or at least how to work with it, how to best integrate it. And
Yeah.
I think that's really useful. Give everything its own identity, so that everything has an identity. And like you said, you can almost tell just from the play style of the card what it is, right? Oh, that must be Thymos because it does XYZ very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that'll just elevate the enjoyment of the game.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it'll also, I don't want to say simplify, but it'll make it a lot easier to get into because when you have someone, like I have some friends who are just starting to play Genesis and they have specific play styles they're bringing from other games. And I can't point them in a direction right now. Not to say that there aren't directions, but I can't clearly point them in a direction and say, go with this. This is similar to what you like elsewhere in a play style because we don't have those clear divisions at this point. At least in my experience, we don't.
Yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to integrating in the future. Hey there, Jason. Welcome to the chat tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be showing off a lot of fun stuff and sharing some really cool details tonight. So we're glad you could make it for the live stream. What's next, Jeff?
Do we want to talk a little bit about what we've oh, Mr. Alex just joined us as well. Hello, Mr. Alex.
Hey, Mr. Alex
Sorry,
21
Mr.
Alex.
R Alex 21 Alex.
Yeah.
You got a lot of Alexes and a lot of R's in your Mr. there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping age 21, not born in 1921, but you never know. Hey, we take all ages in here, right?
Everyone's welcome in the Genesis community.
Do we want to talk a little bit about what we're going to reveal in the video, how we got there, or do we want to show it off first and then talk about it?
Well, I think we can, like, spoiler alert for people, we're very excited to share a couple complete cards tonight, not just the artworks, but you're actually going to get to see 2 new cards complete with all the text on them. You're going to get to see some tweaks and changes. What? What?
I'm sorry, I'm behind, so I.
Sorry, Janice, my support crew is on a delay, so she's a few seconds behind. You're going to see some tweaks and some changes that we made to the cards to make, amongst other things, the text more visible, which I think is a great improvement. We've cleaned up the cards a little bit to maybe show off a little bit more artwork in the normal versions than you're used to seeing before. And I think that's going to be a great change that people are really going to love. And what I'm honestly, Jeff, and I love what you've done with the front of the cards. It's really great. But I got to be honest, the thing that I'm the most excited to share with people tonight, I'm actually giddy thinking about it, is I can't wait for you, the viewers at home, the fans of Genesis, to see what the new card backs are going to look like, because we have changed it. It's going to be more reflective of who we are as a company and what we want our game to be moving forward. And I don't want to give any spoilers for it, but I'm really, really proud of the artwork for the backs of Genesis cards that we've come up with. It was a teamwork between Mr. Pacito himself and an outside consultant, a professional full-time graphic designer. We brought him into the fold on this project, and I can't I can't say enough good things about how much I love the artwork on the back of the cards, and I think everybody when they see it is going to be like, "Oh, this is a great." You know, there's Janice's thumbs up. Everybody when you see it, I think you're going to be like, "This is a great sign for the future."
Yeah.
I will spoil one thing. One of the two cards we're going to see tonight is called Lord of the Hunt, and so far it's my favorite artwork from the next set. When I saw it, even without the frames, without the text on it, I was like, "This is literally gorgeous art, and it's exactly what I would want to see on a card that I want to play." So I'm really stoked for people to see that as well. So I think once everybody sees the new layouts for the card fronts, and once everybody sees the new back design for cards, I think they're going to be excited. And we could talk a little bit afterwards about why we went certain ways we did, Jeff, and like what the thought
Sure.
process was. Because none of these things was done in a one and done. Like we've spent weeks going back and forth. Everybody on the team has been making tweaks and edits and suggestions, and it was a real group effort to get these done.
I believe it was somewhere around version 7 or 8, maybe. I started calling it final, and anyone who's ever done art, and especially graphic design, will know that after, card layout final, there was card layout final 1,
Yeah.
final 2, final 3. I think we're on final 5. So we're somewhere around 15 to 20 different variations to get to where we are at this point. Give or take. I didn't label them all in that sequence, but that's usually how it's done, that sort of way. And I'm really excited about it too, because we really did focus on legibility, clarity, a couple of things that me, Jason, and Janice had noticed previously needed to be cleaned up and tidied up, and I'm really excited about it. And much like you, Jason, the card backs blew me out of the water. It was not what I expected at all, and I don't want to say any more about it till it comes up, because it was not at all what I thought, where I thought we would end up, and I'm really excited and happy that that's where we ended up.
Well, I'm
'Cause
excited.
really
I'm excited too because our card backs go a whole different direction than any other game out there that I've seen. And it's a
yeah.
direction that I think the industry should be going. So I think it's a great change. It's visually appealing. And if people look closely at the card backs, they're also going to notice, and this is something I'm really proud of too, we have made a subtle change to the new Genesis Battle of Champions logo based on direct feedback that people gave us from watching these streams and from talking on Facebook and other places. So I think that's really good too, because we're not just talking the talk about listening to the fans and being open to accept input when it's good. We heard them, we implemented that feedback, and we made a small little change to the logo, and I think it made it a lot better. And I think as a game company, you can't afford to be stubborn and think that your idea is always the right idea. You have to be willing to at least consider what people put forward, and I'm excited about that because it's going to show too that like we are listening to people and we value your feedback. We'll always consider it even if we can't implement it.
I'd like to touch on a couple of things that came up in the chat there. Damien, that is where I thought the card back was going to go, a picture of myself. But
that's for the Jefferson art. The Jefferson art, yeah. And apparently
I'll talk to you all later.
There's some Genesis art as well, from what I've been hearing. Janice wants some Genesis cards to get printed someday.
Genesis cards? That works good.
There's no way to do...
Jason, your name doesn't work though, eh?
I know.
Genesis doesn't work, so you're out. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't get my own game. That's all right though.
And I want to comment there on the cardboard cohorts, because I love his interaction and his commentary. I don't think we should ever make a werewolf card just so that he keeps asking for a werewolf card, because he will not give up until we make one, and we will keep him just on that leash. Speaking of werewolf, keep him on that leash and just keep pulling at him. So
now, come on, you should know that you can't put a werewolf on a leash. That's just not a good idea. That's not going to work out the way you think it is.
No. It's anything's open in the not cool, bro. There, okay, I'm in trouble now.
Duelist,
you'll have to
JD, nice to see you.
Are we at the point to show that video so you can see what that card is now, or?
Well, I have to say one more thing before we show the video.
Yeah, by all means, go right ahead.
The one thing I have to say is I hope that everybody out there watching this will appreciate it, because no word of a lie, I think I did about 8 hours of physical labor animating certain frames, frame by frame, to make things rotate and look really pretty. And I worked really hard on this video, so I hope that the people watching it will appreciate it, because I never want to just show a card and have it be blah. I tried hard to make this look really cool, so I'm excited to share it with you all. And if you're good, Jeff, are you good with us watching it now?
I think let's watch it now, because then we can give everyone a moment to absorb it, cheer for it, complain about it, then cheer for it again. We'll talk a little bit, and then we'll show it one more time so that people can remember it, because I know change is difficult for people, and I want people to really absorb it and take the time to absorb it.
That's fair. There's a lot to see here. 2 card fronts,
Yeah.
1 card back. I think it's about 1:45 total. So we'll see you in
Yep.
about 1:45, everybody. Hit it, Janice.
Excellent. See you all then.
Wow. Feels as good as the first time I saw it. I'm excited. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, yeah, me too. I mean, and I don't want to downplay the Akravata art either. There, that's gorgeous too. I mean,
Yeah.
Lord of the Hunt is incredible, but that
Yep.
other one, wow. I don't like patting ourselves on the back sort of thing, but I'm talking about the artwork itself was incredible.
Yeah,
And the
for sure.
layouts I think really clean it up a lot. Really, really clean it up and make the art the focal point. You get the information across you need to in a very organized and distinct way, I think.
Yeah, I like the fact that we took away that whole sidebar going down the right side of a card where all the symbols, even when they weren't lit up, they took a lot of space away from the art. And I
Yeah.
think the more you can clean up the face of a card and show the art underneath, the more exciting it is. Because even the normal border, the black border versions of the commons now, they look better because you see more of the artwork. And then
Yep.
the epics, where there's going to be borderless versions, they pop so good because it's just so much more to see and to take in.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, they definitely do. And I know that the simplifying it with the symbols the way we did makes it a lot easier to see. And we even did, I don't know if anyone caught the subtlety there of some color coding we did. So if you look at the text boxes, there is a little bit of color coding in there to help you know what color identity that summon or
Yeah.
spell or whatever is. So that's a little something we added in too to make it differentiate.
And we tried to make sure that the affiliation symbols were a little easier to see because it's not a black background behind it. It's not like I like it better in the way that it is now up at the top. I think it's going to be a little bit easier visually. And we're still open to feedback. If after a set or two we hear from people who are visually impaired that it's not enough for color blindness, we can totally make a little tweak on the frame to add
Yep.
something else to make it extra easy. We are always working very hard to make it what's the word, accessible for everybody. That's the most important thing. What's the point of making a great game that's fun to play if some people just don't get to play it because of something unfair in life, right? We want everybody to have a chance to join in the fun, have fun, and be included. And I'm really proud of the steps we're making to achieve that.
On the quick flash by on the screen, Cardboard Cohorts, who is colorblind, and I know he's advised on some games on their colorblindness and how to mitigate that. On the quick flyby on the screen, he seems to have been able to recognize everything clearly. So that's one
That's
good
good.
start. But maybe we will have a werewolf in the future for you. I mean, I can't pull that rug out from under you. We'll have to talk about that and think about that down the road.
But we'll only print it in black and white, and he'll never know because he's colorblind, right? We'll just tell him it's in
Yep.
color, and You'll never know.
To answer Jason's
Yeah,
question,
go ahead.
did you
Yeah,
just see that popping? Okay,
yeah.
I was going to say at this point, both card backs are, as per official Genesis rules, even before we took over the IP, all tournaments had to have sleeved cards. They didn't have to be Genesis sleeves, but they had to be opaque sleeved cards. That was part of the rule set from the get go. So they will still both currently be tournament legal, all sleeved up, just like it was before.
Yeah, you can mix and match to your heart's content because you have to play in stores with sleeves anyway. So no
Yep.
worries there.
Yep. Will doesn't like the names in the middle, but no one really listens to Will, so that's okay. I mean, he doesn't have a good, strong opinion, right? I don't even know. Does anyone know who Will is? Is anyone familiar with
Well,
Will?
Jeff, you gotta remember he's not just a fan anymore. We gotta listen to the guy now.
Why?
Well, just because like I've said too much, but his opinion matters to me, so we'll listen to Will.
Yeah, yeah, and I do understand some of these layout things people are bringing up here, like names and whatnot. I remember I got into a discussion once about placements of mana symbols that where they should be on the left or the right for if it was for Magic the Gathering, and then it was compared to another card game coming out. Apparently, Magic got it backwards. The symbol should have been on the other side. So that when you fan it out, you can see it properly. They chose to put them in the middle, which was the most awkward place I think you could put a mana symbol because you do not see that when you fan cards out in your hand.
Right.
So yes, we will obviously review things as time goes on. At this point, this is what we're going forward with, I believe, because it kind of ticked all the boxes we had to up to this point, and we're very, very proud and very excited with it. Barring any glaring thing that we're missing, if anyone has anything that they've caught on to that's totally out of left field that we're missing, but I don't believe so. We took a lot of time, like we said, probably close to 20 versions of it to get to this point.
Yeah. Can we take a minute to talk about the card backs a little bit more?
But definitely, I think we should.
Well, I just want to say, like, I love it for so many reasons, but one of the main things that we wanted to do when we realized this is a unique opportunity and a good time to change the card backs because we had to anyways because the old company logo was on the old back, so we had to change it. And I started off by asking that we maybe add some color into it because I'm not a fan of a significant amount of card games out there in the market. Not all of them, but quite a significant amount are mainly blacks and grays and dark browns and earth tones, and it's very the palette, the color palette of it was very drab in my opinion. And I really wanted to get some bright colors in there, especially because with the 5 affiliations in Genesis, that there was 5 great colors to work with, right? So that was actually, I don't know if people caught on, but the main 5 colors that are spread all around that it fades from color to color in the back of the cards are the 5 colors of the affiliations. And then of course, in the middles, you'll get some nice gradient colors where they mix together. But that was the idea, is all the 5 principal colors on the back reflect the 5 affiliations. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's something pleasing to the eye to see, which I think is important. For some reason, some people forget that things should be bright and pleasing to the eye, right? So I'm really happy about that. I think it's going to be approachable. One of the main things we want is, again, the game needs to feel welcoming and inclusive for all, even though it's a game about battle and strategy and tactics. It's important that all the players feel welcome. And I think that the card back design that we wound up ending up with is one that makes the game feel approachable. If you saw 5 different games stacked up on a table and all you saw were the card backs, I think ours would be the one that most people would be drawn to taking a closer look at. So that was the intent behind that.
And I tend to agree. I've done some card back designs myself in the past, and worked on some, contributed to some, and seen some. And I would say 90% of them, if not more, independent card games, big card games, all that, are very bland. They're usually dark, like you said. They're very ominous, if you want to call it that. And I think the vibrancy really is a differentiator. It gives us something different to look at. It gives you something nice to hold in your hand, something exciting to see. I like it. I really do like it a lot. The scales on it, which also kind of look like a bit of a cracked earth when you see it a bit clearer. Like there's about 3 or 4 interpretations you can get for that. At one point, it looked like stones in a lava pool sort of thing. Like it's really neat when you look at the back of it. It's very subtle, but it's enough to kind of make you think about what it is, sort of thing. And I really do like that.
And a shout out to our designer who worked on that part of it. That was all hand drawn, and I'm told that he worked on actually quite a large area, quite larger than we needed for the game card back, so that if we ever want to use that in a larger artwork, you could actually expand it and it's the original art still, which is cool. So we may have, like perhaps maybe that pattern might wind up on an arena style playmat in the future. You could actually be playing with that tile stone background on the artwork. So it's really cool. I think it's going to be great in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I think it brings the game into another era now.
Yes.
It does move it forward. The card backs, the card fronts. It's all fresh. I was just looking at some cards today, actually, how dark they all appeared, and it's not very welcoming and inviting. Even when you like the game and you love it, and everything's so dark, you need that bit of brightness and vibrancy to really pull people into it, I think.
Yeah.
And it's worked for me. It's worked for everyone that we worked on it with at this point, and I think it's the right direction for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
All the new fonts on the front being more legible, easy to read, very exciting.
Yep. We've gone for more standard sans serif fonts for a lot of them, so that they're a little bit more blocky, easier to tell apart from the backgrounds and whatnot, as we have transparencies in the background to the artwork and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, so a lot of thought went into all those things. There's a lot of subtle things that were done deliberately, and cumulatively, it works out to a nice, noticeable finished product.
Yeah, it did. It went through enough iterations that I'd be surprised if someone could come up with something for us to try that we didn't try, that we can go back and say, oh, that was version 9. Version 9 had that look sort of thing. So I think we can track back to see some of that stuff. But that's for down the road as things go forward. Because as we've said before, Jason, right? Like nothing can be stagnant. Games can't stay stagnant. You want to grow and develop as we want to grow and develop the characters in it. Everything grows and develops with that. Minor tweaks here and there, little changes over time. You don't notice it till later on. Much like our artists grew from the original Genesis games they worked on, and our characters, we're hoping, our champions are going to grow through the stories throughout releases of Genesis. Other aspects can grow and evolve over time. And I think that's the best way to handle things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Constantly moving forward.
So where do we go from here, Jeff? What do you talk about? Oh, and before you answer that, let me just also throw out to the chat that if anybody has any questions or anything that they want to talk about Genesis related, let us know, and we will. We're here to chat with you. But Jeff, where do you see us going now? What do you want to talk about next?
Do we want to talk about? Oh, you know what? Do you have another video, Jason? Do you have another video queued up, or am I wrong? No, maybe not. You don't have a video. I think there's something we can talk about. Sorry. I think we can talk about some stuff from the past.
Okay.
That will help some stores for the future.
Oh, yes. I don't have a video for that here. That's right.
Talking about it. That's what it was.
That's right.
It was, yeah. What do you think? Should we touch base on that?
Yeah, we definitely should, because we need all the Genesis fans out there to help us spread the word, because it's a very good thing to spread. So
yes.
What Jeff's alluding to is just a few days ago on a private, in a couple of private areas that are reserved just for game store owners that had made contact with the old company, we put out a message. I did up a nice video about a really cool promotion that we're doing to help local game stores to rebuild their Genesis community, to get people hyped up again, and to help those local game stores make a little bit extra money too before Invasion comes out. And I know a lot of people are wondering about Invasions. I will say this. As of right now, we're still on track to hopefully get it out prior to the end of the year. We're aiming for a holiday release still. We haven't hit any roadblocks yet that would kill that, so that's still the hope. But in the meantime, that leaves a few months where people could be having fun playing Genesis in the stores and getting really hyped up. So we have a special promotion that any local game stores who carried Genesis in the past, or maybe want to start carrying it now, the store owners can reach out to us. They can send us an email. Unfortunately, I don't have the graphic ready on the screen to type it out. But if anybody who owns a local game store wants to reach out to us at hello@edgeofexile.com, that's the email address, then they can reach out to us, and we have a really cool promotion where we can help them get some product, help them get some promos, and believe me, you would not believe the amount of promos that we have. We have a lot of promos that I'd never seen or heard of before. Like, there's a lot of really cool promos from the history of Genesis that we have, and we're going to offer a very special, exciting deal to try and help stores get their Genesis community playing in stores again, having lots of fun, having some good prizing to enjoy in the meantime before Invasions hits. Because the goal for us right now is to make sure that every game store out there that has had Genesis in the past is going to have a fun time playing, so that when Invasions releases, we can hit the ground running, and the community is going to be ravenous, just ready for it, to add these new cards from Invasion to their existing decks that they're playing with again. So it's a really cool promotion, and I think, speaking as an actual local game store owner myself, I can speak from that side of the coin that I think the local game store owners are going to love it. It's a great promotion to help them out, because honestly, that I think that's one of the things that we're going to really shine as a game manufacturer, is we're very aware of the struggles and challenges that local game stores deal with, and we're going to try to be the best game manufacturer in supporting local game stores and helping them on the road to success.
To answer Damien's question there, he's asking, what if he's not the store owner, but he ran the events? If you can get your store owner in touch with us at hello@edgeofexile.com, we would gladly fulfill any order they might have to benefit the community there. So just talk to them. If you ran the events, I'm sure you're on a good communicative terms with them. Talk to them about it. They can touch base with us, and they'll see what we have to offer, sort of thing, to get Genesis back into their store.
And to cardboard cohorts, I would never want to denigrate somebody who used to work for a different company, but it's fair to say that there was a lot of promos made, and there won't be that many promos being made in the future going forward. This company has a lot different point of view and perspective on the need of promos, what deserves promos, and how many should be printed. So I would not, if I were you, don't expect to see that same circumstance moving forward. But in the meantime, we have a surplus of a lot of really cool promos, some of which in traditional markets were pretty valuable before. So we want to get some of that out there on the market, because promo cards are meant to be played with, not sitting in a vault. So that's part of the cool rewards that we're going to be getting out to stores to help them get the gaming community built back up again.
Our goal right now is to hit the ground running as best we can to get these stores, as Jason said, back up and running, getting their communities rebuilt if they stopped, and if they haven't stopped, just to re-encourage them and give them the best leg forward or leg up that they can have at this point. Mm-hmm. Getting ready for the Invasion release, which, as Jason alluded to, it's still on track for a holiday season release. We haven't hit any roadblocks yet. Talking with the printers, talking with everything like that, we're right in line with that. There shouldn't be a problem. We're not nailing down a date as of yet, because we don't have anything hard-coded yet. Once we have actual documentation, then we can start putting down dates on things. As of right now, it's just planned out to still be arriving in that time frame.
Yeah, Jeff just alluded to another cool thing. We haven't actually technically said it yet, but here it is for the record. We have locked down which printing company we're going to be using moving forward. So that was a big decision. We had lots of options out there, and I'm happy to say that we are in the process of actually signing the paperwork now to get that process going, which is exciting. That's a big milestone. So that's a big step down the road towards actually playing with Invasions cards. And the fact that we are now at that point where we've made the decision, and we're getting prices and how quick they can get stuff shipped to North America and Europe and whatnot, like, it's really exciting. It's a great time where we're making significant real progress. And every week we're getting more and more information and more things locked down. So we get excited because things are going really well for us, and I'm thrilled with it.
There's we're, as they say, we're firing on all cylinders here. We haven't taken our foot off the pedal. How many more metaphors can I come up with about cars there?
I don't know. You're doing
good. Where are the pits? I see the checkered flag. I don't know. That's all I got. I'm not a car guy. But yeah, we are moving ahead as quickly and as well as we can. And Jason's right. It's kind of exciting for us as we hit all these milestones to get there. A little bit inside baseball stuff. I know some of you like that. That's why we try and provide, when we can, some information. Yeah. Because we know you like to hear these sorts of things. But we never want to put the cart before the horse, if at all possible. So we're trying to hold back on that.
For cardboard,
Andrew brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that Damien, that he thought Damien was looking at advocate type stuff, but I'll defer to you on that, Jason, when we get to that.
Yeah, I was just going to rehash that we had covered that last week. That's a program that we want to get going in the future. But that, like, specific stuff specifically for advocates getting to new stores is something that we will be establishing later when full organized play comes back with, like, whatever that looks like, promo packs, earning your way to the World Championship, all that. That's all something that'll happen next year. In the meantime, perhaps if somebody who isn't a store owner convinces their store owner to reach out and send an email to us, that store owner can let us know who it was that like encouraged them to do it, and we'll put a little something special in the box for them as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
we want to obviously support the people that are supporting us as best we can.
yeah.
But as for a full blown advocate program, that's on a go forward basis with Edge of Exile product. Right now, we're talking more a little bit about past product that's sitting there ready to be distributed.
Yeah, stuff that's easily accessible right now and could hopefully make a difference in getting people to want to go out and play on a weekly basis again right now. So,
Yep.
hello,
Do we,
Marcus. Hello, David
hey, Mark,
Clayton. Welcome. A couple local players from up here in my neck of the woods. A couple of exiles tuning in tonight. Nice to see you both on the channel.
do we have any other questions coming in on the live here? Because yeah, there weren't a lot of questions in the. I didn't get anything emailed to me. No private messages. Really, nothing in the chat.
Well, that might be because we've been pretty
So
forthcoming the last couple of weeks. I think we did a fairly good job, to toot our own horn, of trying to answer as many questions as we could. So, but
I
yeah,
think
if
we've answered
anybody
all the
wants to know
questions.
anything, we'd love to. It's a two-way street here. We want to
Yeah.
communicate with you. We want to hear what you want. We want to try and work with you to make this the best community possible. So,
Maybe we've answered all the questions, Jason. We don't have to do these lives anymore. We're good.
oh, don't say that, Jeff. I like
uh,
getting to chat with all my friends online, so it feels good.
me too. Let's give him a few
Jerome,
minutes.
hello, Jerome. It's good to see you as well. Now that fine gentleman there, he's technically in exile because he comes up this way to see us. But truth be told, he lives in Toronto, so he's got lots of gaming options. Real good
Ooh.
guy, though. How do
Ooh,
we
how do you rebuild the buzz with games like Lorcana coming? Go for it, Jason. How do you rebuild the buzz?
um, specifically about Lorcana? Are we worrying about that? Because to be honest with you, I'm, I don't, I don't, I'm, and I know this sounds bad, but I'm not worried about what other games are doing. I'm just really worried about what we're going to do. And when I say worried, I'm not worried at all. I'm focused, I'm excited, I'm motivated. I've said this before in the past to people who play at my local game store. I've said this for literally 4 years. Genesis was always my favorite game to play for the last 4 years. I loved it. I was a huge fan. That's what's led all of us, the three of us here, to being owners and stewards of the game moving forward because we believe that this game has the potential to be one of the top 3, 4, 5 games out there eventually. There's unlimited potential for this game, and I think that we're going to do a good job rebuilding the buzz just by supporting local game stores. We're going to work harder than I can promise you that we're going to work harder than any other trading card game out there to support local game store owners because I personally know the struggles. Janice personally knows the struggles on what we've had to deal with, what we've had to cope with. There's a little bit of inside baseball for some fans out there who want to hear it. As a local game store, there's nothing worse than when a company starts promoting product that's coming out 4 months from now on the week that you're trying to do a pre-release for the product that came out today. And we will never do stuff like that. We are not going to be doing things where local game stores get frustrated and feel like they're getting left behind or stabbed in the back. I swear to you, we know the struggles and the challenges, and we're with the local game stores to support them. And I think as more and more owners out there realize that we're working as a team with them to help them be successful and help us be successful, I think that's going to get the store owners motivated to support us. And I think that just the fact the game is really fun is going to get the players in local game stores excited. And I think the fact that we're going to be so focused on representation for everybody as the game and the lore expands in the future, I think when no matter who you are, no matter what ethnicity you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter what anything you are, if you can find something in the game that you can relate to and find maybe a reflection of yourself, then it makes you want to play the game more. And I think that's going to help build the hype. I could go on for 5 minutes telling you about all the reasons I think that we're going to have great hype in the future. We have a great roadmap, we have great intentions, and we have great plans for the future.
You forgot one key thing too, Jason, is the uniqueness, right?
Yeah,
It is a unique game, and I know
it
that's what
is.
drew me in. But it's different. It's not just another draw a card, play it, boop to the face type thing. It's got more to it. It's why I'm
Yeah.
not good at playing it because it's 3-dimensional chess when I can barely play checkers, right? So I can see that as a draw-in factor for people that are tired of just draw a card, play a land, go type thing.
I
I think
also
that's
I think even for people who aren't playing it, casual fans, I think it's a more fun visual spectator game to
yes.
watch because you see the plans lay out and you see the battlefield, the arena get filled, and you might see something that one of the players don't realize. You'd be like, oh, is he going to fall into that trap? Is he going to move into that square? Oh, he did. Oh
Yep.
no. And
Yep.
I love that about the game. I think it's really fun and entertaining to watch as a spectator, a little more than maybe some other games where the battles are more like theater of the mind, to use a Dungeons and Dragons analogy, where it's all in your head, the battle, right? So, yeah, I'm a
If I,
big
if
fan.
I if I can talk about my all quicksand deck for a minute,
Sure.
when you're talking about things developing and all that, uh, I never successfully ran that deck without trapping myself as opposed to my opponent.
Oh,
So
really?
there's things growing. Yeah, I always trap myself around with quicksand surrounding me somehow, and I don't know how, but that's it. The movement is such a big part of it. It's just
Yeah.
so intriguing and different. We have a few more questions on
Yeah.
here. If you want, I can tackle the first one I see there, which is what are our plans for conventions?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think the idea is that at the right time, we are planning to attend the uh, bigger, more focused conventions, the ones that are designed to focus on our product, um, on our fan base, that sort of thing. I don't like the shotgun approach to tackle everything, hit up every single convention. It's not probably the best use of resources. We want to make sure that what we do, at least for the next few years, is very focused and very targeted. So we will be very cognizant of what are the big game shows in each area and target those as best we can to get the product out there, get the name out there, get the word out there. We're not looking for the flash in the pan, hype train. We're looking for the long term playability, viability of the game.
Would it be reasonable to assume that you're saying that any really major, iconic conventions are the ones we'd want to be at, the one like as opposed to the smaller ones that haven't been around? Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to understand, like,
Yeah, that's my interpretation right now is to get to these bigger, the ones that people recognize. Right, you've got
Gen Con,
Gamma,
Gamma, things
Gen
like that.
Con,
Yeah.
the larger shows. Not to say that the smaller ones aren't valuable in their own respect, but I know, for example, collecticons. Right, there's collecticons in every back alley across the U.S. Not in Canada yet, but across the U.S. in every little small town. Some are valuable and viable and large draws. Some are not. Some
Yeah.
focus more on trading card games. Some do not. I've had some feedback from friends of mine who have attended some collecticons with their card games and said there wasn't a single person there that had any interest in collectible card games whatsoever. So I
Yeah.
think that's really our goal. Is part of our roadmap is get the game out, keep developing the game, plan the conventions that are best going to represent our game, and get to
Yeah.
those as uh, reliably as we can.
Yeah, that would have been basically my answer too. Yeah.
Yeah. I should clarify that we're not ignoring any of the conventions. It's to find the right ones to go to, because it's no sense in me and Jason both flying out to somewhere in Florida that is in a hotel that has 20 booths that no one's
Well,
coming to. Like,
I mean, I am a fan of theme parks, though, Jeff. So we may have to hit one in Florida. Janice would want to come to
but
that too. See,
we'll,
yeah,
we'll hit a bigger show in Florida is what I'm saying. I'm using a
yeah, yeah,
bad example of a
yeah,
hotel
In
yeah.
based
Vegas.
one
Don't
because I
don't
know there's a
diss
lot
Florida.
here.
We like Florida.
In
Oh no,
Vegas.
I like it too. Don't get me wrong.
And
I'm a
where?
In
Disney
Vegas.
And
file. I
Vegas.
like going to
Yeah,
and Vegas. Yes,
Florida and
yeah.
Vegas. We'll be at all the gaming conventions in those two states. I can pretty much guarantee you that.
You heard it here. Jason and Janice will be at both of those, hands down. They're going to send me out to the Arctic Circle. I'm going to get all the bum places to go. No offense if anyone here is from the Arctic Circle. It's not a bum place to go. I got to go at the right time of year, I'm guessing, is what I'm getting at.
Please don't hold us responsible for things Jeff says.
Yep. Uh, yeah. Where's your little? We need a little disclaimer ticker at the bottom that says none of these comments are reflective of the company's opinions.
It's funny you would say that because that is in the end credits. I put that in there. I'm
Right.
not saying I know you, Jeff,
Good.
but I may have put that in
That's
the
good.
credits a couple weeks ago.
David Clayton has a question. Do you want to answer
Sure.
this one, Jason? He
Yeah.
wants to know the most. I guess we're both supposed to answer. Maybe even all three if Janice wants to get involved.
Okay.
He wants to know the most exciting, riveting change we're able to discuss that we haven't brought up yet. What is the most interesting thing we have yet to talk about?
I mean, he should have asked that at the beginning of the night because the card backs is one of the things I'm most jacked about right now. I'm so
Yeah.
excited in the direction that we're taking the game to be more accessible and to be just more approachable. That's what I'm really excited about. And I know we spoiled that earlier tonight, but That's really what I'm consumed with right now is I want Genesis to be accessible, approachable, and I want
Yep.
everybody to have a chance to see how amazing it is because I love this game and I want everybody else to get a chance to have fun with it too. You, Jeff,
I,
what
I
would you
think
say?
I think for me, and I don't think it's something we can talk about until Invasions comes out properly,
Yeah.
um, is our plans and thoughts behind collectability. We have some thoughts, some
Yeah.
ideas,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
and I think it's really the right way to go with things, and I think it'll be a nice surprise for some people. Um,
And I think a lot
yeah,
of people out there who were not happy with the collectability of the game before are going to be very happy with the changes that we're going to implement. I definitely
yeah,
think that.
I think
Um,
so too. Yeah, that's what I'm excited about. Yeah,
oh, I have a follow up too. I have another thing I'm excited
sure.
about. Is I'm
Okay.
excited. I've been putting a lot of thought and mental energy into the set after Invasions, and I'm really excited about that. Janice and I agree on what the name for the next one should be, but we haven't locked it in with the whole team, so I won't say it tonight because it might change. But maybe in a week or two, I can give a couple of hints and subtle things about what the set after Invasions will be because I'm already.
Not yet.
Yeah, not today. No, don't. Yeah, when you do that, people could like think you're saying the next set's going to be thumbs down or
No,
something. You
no,
got
no, no, no,
gotta
no.
be clear. No, I'm not allowed to say it tonight. I'm not allowed to say it tonight, but I'm very excited about what the set after Invasion is going to be. I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward to starting to reveal some info about that because that's going to be the first one that we kind of do full hands on, and it's going to be really fun. And I've got some great ideas for some cards, some gameplay mechanics. We have a team meeting later tonight after this live stream is done, and I can't wait to talk to our new staff members tonight and share thoughts and concept with them because it is going to be an amazing time discussing it and picking the brains of some great people who were involved in the game before.
I think the other thing I'm excited for is the large cane we're going to order for Janice. So like those old 40s cartoons, she can just hook Jason and pull him off camera when he's saying something he's not supposed
Yeah, 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 yeah.
to.
That's fair. That's fair.
Marcus has a question that
Yeah,
I think I can answer.
sure.
So far, are the champions that have been revealed in the past, are they staying the same, as in the same abilities, stats, artwork? He's just curious about it. As of this moment right now, yes, the artwork that was spoiled prior to our takeover is still the artwork that's being used. The stats and details are what was revealed before. We are going to be looking at them and reviewing them ourselves before we rubber stamp everything and finalize it. But as of this moment, right tonight, everything is the way it was for those 7 champions.
Yeah, partly because we haven't reviewed them and rubber stamped them yet. We're keeping our
Yeah,
options open. That's fair to say. That's a
yeah,
question that we'll be able to answer a little bit better in the future once we've dealt
for
with
sure.
Invasion first. So,
Andrew has a question about other formats. I think we touched on that last week. We said that we're open to other formats. Our concern right now is getting Invasion out as it
yeah.
needs to be, and we all have ideas. And in fact, Jason, I'm going to talk to you tonight about another idea I had for a format. You have to remember, my formats are never really serious, though. Mine's kind of
Mhm.
like a half-baked, jokey format, but that'll come down the road, as there is with everything. There's half-baked, jokey formats in all games, right? Or
I'll,
should be, at least, to add that level of bizarre funness to it.
I'll add a little bit onto your answer too for cardboard cohorts for the formats. I can definitely say, in full honesty, I think that the role playing style format that
Dungeon crawler.
the dungeon crawler format that Joey had came up with, which was like Bazin's House of Horrors and whatnot. I think that is way too good to never be seen again. So I'm sure we'll be doing some organized play or some lore telling or something with new versions of that style of gameplay. I'm sure you'll see that some point down the line because it's
Definitely.
just way too good to not use. And it's something that, as far as I know, ours is probably one of the only games that can really do that properly. So I definitely want to take advantage of that and build on that. And as far as casual in-store formats, I mean, Jeff is a huge fan of Pack Wars. You,
I'm going to find a way to make that, to implement that somehow as a official, unofficial one. I'm going to work
yeah,
hard on that with, well, I guess Will introduced it to me, so I'm going to have to bend Will's ear about it to find a way
yeah,
to make that an official format. Sometime before I go, that will be an official format somewhere because
yeah.
it has to be. It's so much fun. It's a lot of fun.
I think
And it's
so.
great for stores to play that sort of thing too.
And if I was going to bet money, I think somewhere down the line in the future, two other formats that may or may not become official is probably going to be a two-headed team one. I know in other games they have names for that. We won't use the name that other games have. But I think teams of two, you might even see that at pre-releases in the future. I know other games have done that. That would be really cool because there's nothing more fun than bringing your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your kid, whoever, teaming up with somebody that you love and having a fun time where the experienced player can carry the new player through it and like socialize. So 2-player teams is definitely a format I want to see, and 4-player free-for-alls. I don't know if it'll be official or just be something casual, but you're going to see that get played a lot in stores too. So just off the top of my head, there's probably 4 or 5 formats that you will see, 2 or 3 being official, and a couple others that are just so fun that you're going to see them being played in stores all the time.
I'll talk about the messy format I've got planned at some point.
I look forward to that in the employee meeting tonight. That'll be fun.
Well, I might not even talk about it there because you guys are just going to say no to it. So maybe I will leak that at some point on my personal channels.
Are you gonna Deadpool us? You're gonna pull a Ryan Reynolds and just leak it to the public without our approval?
I can talk about it right now, and you guys will just think I'm crazy. So I'll let it go. Maybe we'll talk about it next Monday. I'll bring it up next Monday.
That's a great idea. You can tell everybody about it next Monday. Give them something to look forward to for a week.
Andrew has a question about attending Gen Con in August. No, we're not attending Gen Con in August. It's already booked up. So we couldn't even get a space if we wanted to at this point.
Right.
I think we'll be targeting next year as our start to the convention season. Probably looking at Gen Con and what's the one in? It's skipping my mind.
What, Gamma?
Probably Gamma. Yes, we'll probably be looking at those, starting those up in next year. So we're going to have to look towards the end of this year to get a space if necessary going forward to those. Everything for this year is booked up, so we won't be able to unfortunately attend any of those at this point.
And we would want to do it right anyways. I wouldn't want to, while we're trying to get the next set out and while we're still getting full speed going on things and while we're trying to set up or design organized play, I don't want to be half measures going to a convention. I want to go a year from now when we've got like maybe some cool plasma TVs to set up and have like videos in the background of the champions fighting. There's really eye-catching, and have demos tables and like we've really refined the how to play mechanics to teach people on the spot in 5 minutes the elevator pitch of the game. I will never go and do that half measure. I want to be prepared so that we can go and show that our game is one of the best games out there and convince and convey people to play it. So.
Jerome is asking about Fan Expo. I know in recent years, specifically I believe this year, Fan Expo is really pushing hard to try and get gaming back. They've lost their gaming mojo, if you want to call it that. I've spoken with some people that do other games, and they've been pushing hard for that. Like Jason said, we're not going to be ready for that this year. We would be tripping over ourselves for it, and I don't want to put a half foot forward. Let's make a full leap forward and ready for it next year. We can plan out the proper space, the proper booth with the proper marketing and the proper space, rather than trying to scramble at it this year. We want to make sure we've got the right stuff going. So I know people going there in the gaming sphere, and I will talk to them about it and what their experience was to make sure it's back, because it's nothing worse than being in an environment that is not conductive at all to your product. It just it devalues your product, and it depresses the people around you because it's not what they're there for, sort of thing. I used to attend Fan Expo with my comic books all the time, and it was not the right spot for those indie comics. So we want to be ready, hit the ground running at the big shows when the time is right. And when they're ready for it.
I think with Toronto being the closest major city to us, with Jeff actually living in the greater Toronto area or on the edge of it, however you define that, and with us being only a couple hours away, I think Toronto it would make sense for us to take the time to go to a slightly smaller one like a Fan Expo compared to a Gamma, right? Slightly smaller. Whereas maybe it wouldn't be worth the time to fly out to Vancouver or whatever for a smaller one. Like, it's just the convenience of Toronto is so accessible for us. We can drive down, drive home the same day, that you'll likely see us at a couple events in Toronto promoting the game just because it's so close geographically.
Andrew brought up another question about how we promote a game when we're halfway through the year, ready for the release to come in the next 6 months or so, as he's saying. One thing I want to be clear on is that I want to be clear on the first part of that, right? Sorry, what am I waiting for? I want to be clear on the first part.
You and I both want to be very clear on the first part. I'm going to say something else, so you go ahead. Clear that up.
The game did not fail.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This game never failed.
The company failed.
The company failed. The management failed.
Yes.
There was a lot of failures. I wanted to get that out,
so I sounded smart, Jason. That's what I wanted to get that part out.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. There are two very different things between a company, the management team, or the people that work there failing versus the game failing. When that got announced that the game was shutting down, when that announcement went out, there were people all over the world that loved the game that were shocked, devastated, myself in one of them, Jeff one of them, all of you watching one of them. Like the game never failed. It's a great game, and it's only going to get bigger and better. It was the company that failed. So that's my 10 cents on
Yeah.
that.
As for the promotion of it, I don't want to call it a grassroots campaign because grassroots usually involves a whole bunch of other uh, people getting involved, but it is going to be a core effort with our internal group.
Yeah.
This I lean heavily, like we each have our silos that we're better at than others. I know Jason's really good on that front. So this is going to be a lot on Jason's shoulders to get that promotion up, to get that information out there and get that
Yeah,
promoted that way. And I know that he's really good at that. So I don't know. I'm sure he's not going to share details with us at this point or with the general public at this point, but he has some plans and some ideas going forward to get the hype train rolling, similar to how we have some stock we're looking to get into people's hands to get the hype train growing internally to them as well at this point, right? As he announced earlier. So get your LGSs to email us. I dropped the email in the chat there. If anyone missed it, I'll drop it again right now.
Yeah,
Talk
good
to your
idea.
LGS.
Yeah.
Even if they've never carried Genesis in the past,
This
help
is a
make
great
the-
promotion to reach out to
Yeah.
us.
send the email. They may be surprised with the information Jason's going to give them. I'll
Yeah.
leave it at that. So tell them to get that email through. Talk is cheap. It doesn't hurt. So get that email to Jason. The answer may shock you. Isn't that the catch thing, whatever it's called?
Well,
Quote,
and
or
that
whatever it's
leads into Damien's question, right? About how do you plan to get Genesis into stores that were approached by the previous owners but never fully committed? One of the ways that I'm going to be doing that, I think, is once again, like I've been involved in the gaming industry, the card gaming industry for years. I was a Magic judge for 6 years. I traveled all over North America. I know a lot of the key people who are tournament organizers for some of the biggest game stores in the States, some of the biggest game stores in Canada. You know, I've worked at events judging for face-to-face games in Canada. I've worked at events judging for Channel Fireball, for Star City Games. And by the way, I looked great in the Star City Games Magic Judge outfit. They have their own uniforms. I looked great in it. I worked for, who did I say so far? Channel Fireball. Pastimes, I know great people who run organized play at Pastimes, which is another huge game store that's ran Magic Grand Prix. So I know a lot of very influential people who are in major cities and building amazing communities. And I'm going to be reaching out to all my friends. And I'm going to be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a road trip coming down, showing you this amazing game. Hook me up with a bunch of cool people to teach it to. And I think that's going to help a lot. There's going to be a lot of me just hitting the road and going, because sometimes you have to make the extra effort to go in person and meet people. And the great thing about Genesis is when people play it, they love it. And at the end of the day, that's all I need to make this a success, is if the game's fun and people love to play it, the rest will take care of itself. That's the truth. It's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who's played it who hasn't, if not loved it, at least said, oh, that's fun. I can see playing this, right? Most people love it, but others, the worst I've heard is, this looks like fun. I could play this. You know, I will play this sort of thing. That's the bad review I've gotten when I've seen people learn it, sort of thing. So I don't know if we have any other questions, Jason. We're kind of getting towards the end. Do we want to run that promo video one more time just before we call it a night so everyone can see that, and then we'll come back if anyone has any last minute questions, and we can go from there?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll watch the card spoilers one more time. That'll give everybody a minute or two that if there's any more questions, they can get them in the chat. And afterwards, if not, we'll call it a night. Janice and I will head home and we'll get ready for our staff meeting with the design team, because that's going to be really exciting. I can't wait for that later. The three of us are going to have a lot of fun tonight talking about Genesis after this live stream is done. So it's going to be a good time. So if everybody's ready, go ahead, Janice. All right. Well, it's been a real joy. It's been a real treat, Jeff. I've enjoyed talking with you. I'm really happy that we got a fair bit of questions from the chat tonight. It's nice when it's interactive, two-way conversation like this. It's really good to be connecting with the community. Anything else you want to say before we sign off for the night, buddy?
I don't think so. I just love watching that teaser again there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really striking, and it's I think some nice big bold changes going forward, which breathes some fresh life into things. It's just really excited
Yeah.
about it. I can't wait for next Monday. I don't know what we're gonna do next Monday, but I can't wait for next Monday. So
Yeah. One last thought to leave on people's minds is it's okay to get excited because the fun is just beginning.
yes.
And with that, I want to thank my co-host Jeff for joining us tonight. I want to thank Janice here for helping out on the behind-the-scenes work, making it all work so well. It's been great talking to all of you tonight. JC, I will be talking to you later tonight, along with another member of the staff. And with that, there's nothing left to say except take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you all soon right here beyond the Edge of Exile.
Bye, everybody.